The Freaks of Kamala Das is a confessional poem par excellence, but it is also a powerfully feminist poem. It is a feminist poem, it is a feminist milestone in Indian literature for a number of reasons. For now, I shall pinpoint just one reason. We usually get to hear his story, but in the present poem, we listen to her story. The Freaks is a feminist poem because the poet makes use of the matrices of the poem to convey her version of things, to put across her narrative of why and how her marriage broke down. The Freaks is a poem through which we can hear the voice of a woman in all its honesty, in all its clarity, and in all its agony. It's only to save my face I flaunt at times a grand, flamboyant lust. To save my face. To save one's face means to avoid shame, to avoid humiliation. I flaunt. Flaunt means show off. Flaunt means display. Display ostentatiously. At times a grand, flamboyant lust. Flamboyant is that which attracts attention, that which brings attention to itself. Lust is strong sexual appetite, strong sexual desire. The moot question is whether the lust at the closure of the poem is focused on the speaker's husband or whether it is focused on other men. Following the thematic flow of the poem, following the logic generated by the thematic flow of the poem, one is led to the tentative conclusion that the lust is a lust focused on the speaker's husband. You must remember that this narrative is cited in India, is cited in the Indian society of the 1970s, when it was inadmissible, when it was unthinkable for a woman to feel disgust towards her husband, however ugly, however repulsive he was. And if she ever felt a sense of revulsion towards her husband, she was expected to decently hide it and pretend that she lusted after him, that she lusted after his body. To do otherwise would have been a denial of conjugal rights. Hence, the speaker in the poem though she has nothing but revulsion and disgust for her husband, pretends to desire her husband's body, pretends to be attracted towards him sexually, pretends to lust after him. She flaunts at times a grand flamboyant lust. She displays a flamboyant lust for her own husband, though in her heart of hearts she has nothing but contempt and repulsion towards him. However, when one tries to read the passage in the context of the corpus of Kamala Das, one is led to a very different conclusion. When one positions the passage in the context created by the sensational autobiography of Kamala Das, My Story, in the context created by the other poems of Kamala Das, one is led inevitably to the conclusion that the lust at the closure of the poem is a lust not for her disgusting husband, but for other men. I am reminded of a couple of lines from Kamala Das's poem Substitute. I quote, "After that, love became a swivel door. When one went out, another came in." Unquote. Let us focus critical attention on the technical aspects of the poem. The Freaks has a catchy title. The title proclaims to the world that the speaker and her husband are freaks. That something shockingly abnormal is there about them. The title attracts the attention of the reader and brings him to the poem. The poem is 20 lines long. Like any other Kamala Das poem, The Freaks is a free verse poem. Kamala Das refused to attempt traditional meters. Though this is a free verse poem, Kamala Das makes it a point to capitalize the opening letter of the opening word of every line. The diction is simple. The tone is conversational. The Freaks is a rather fast moving poem. On the whole, the pace is rather fast. The greatest strength of the poem is its catena of metaphors. The metaphors are very original, very appropriate, and very forceful. Early in the poem, the mouth of the man is metaphorized as a cavern, as a dark cavern, and his uneven teeth are metaphorized as stalactites. A few lines later, we meet with puddles of desire. The speaker and her partner tripping idly over puddles of desire. A very powerful metaphor is the cistern metaphor, the empty cistern metaphor, the heart an empty cistern. Equally powerful is the metaphor which sees silence as coiling snakes of silence. In the penultimate line, the poem garners fresh energy by suddenly becoming solipsistic. I flaunt at times a grand flamboyant lust. There is an unexpected twist at the closure of the poem, which makes this remarkable piece even more remarkable.